Congresswoman Nicole Malliotakis. She is a Republican who served in the Senate Assembly. That is the chamber in which would lead the potential impeachment hearing. Good morning, ma'am. How are you?
Good. Thank you for having me.
Oh, our pleasure. So what's the latest you're hearing on Cuomo? And, do you think he's going to resign?
Well, the governor is denying that he did anything wrong. But the reality is that his own chief of staff had admitted that there was a cover-up regarding the nursing home scandal. And that was initially why I had called for him to resign. His executive order that put COVID-positive patients, the underreporting, which his own Democratic Attorney General exposed, that was underreported by 50% the number of deaths and 40% the number of positive patients put in those homes. And then there was the admitted cover-up. Then there was the threatening of a state lawmaker. So there has been a lot that has happened here that gives reason for the governor to no longer be able to serve. Now, you have additional 7 women who have come forward with sexual harassment allegations. Now, the question that he refuses to answer is, did he have a consensual relationship with any of his staff members? And that seems to be the key here, because what others may view as sexual harassment, he may view as consensual. And I think that that makes a big difference here, but it doesn't make a difference in whether the governor should resign, because obviously if it was corporate America, he would have been pushed out the door already.
100%.
And this idea that the governor is trying to claim, cancel culture is absurd. He's trying to compare himself with, Abraham Lincoln and George Washington and Mr. Potato Head, and instead of actually taking responsibility for his actions and apologizing to the people of the state of New York.
Yeah, and I've heard, look, the guy is an egomaniac. We all know that. I personally don't think he's going to step down under just about any circumstance, because I think in some degree he has this vision of himself that is not reality, and I don't think he thinks he actually did anything wrong. So he thinks he's fighting this. Now, this is a stunning fall from grace. Most Democrats are now calling for him to leave. I mean, he got an Emmy a few months ago. He wrote a book about how awesome he is and his COVID response, which actually turned out to be a huge dumpster fire in and of itself. What can we do as viewers, what can we do as Americans to start pushing this down and say this is not okay? Because he was on the front lines of supporting the Kavanaugh accusers that had no evidence.
Absolutely. There certainly is a double standard here. This is a governor who had called for at least 3 assembly members. While I was a member of the state assembly, he had called for 3 to resign immediately following allegations by 1 individual each. Now we're up to 7 women here, and the governor seems to have a double standard. And that's not even including the nursing home scandal. And there's others out there, actually, in terms of scandals and what the governor has not been transparent. And there have been other cover-ups that we think are coming slowly out in the media. I think the key here is that people do need to make sure their voices are heard. New Yorkers, they have to call the governor's office demanding his resignation. They should go to my website, enoughcuomo.com, and add their name to the growing list of New Yorkers who want him to take responsibility. But let's not forget that there's also investigations that are occurring, both on the federal level and the state level. The Attorney General has an investigation. The state legislature, in a bipartisan fashion, are moving forward with an impeachment inquiry. We also have the FBI and the Department of Justice investigating the alleged cover-up that his own chief of staff admitted to. So there is a lot happening here. So whether it's going to be by resignation, or whether it's going to be by prosecution, or whether it's going to be at the ballot box next year, I believe that the governor will not be serving much longer. You even see his own staff members not reporting to work. Some have left the administration. How can he possibly, during this month, negotiate the budget, get us back on the track to recovery? We have small businesses that are still suffering due to his arbitrary restrictions. We need to start opening the state, getting children back in school once and for all. And how can we do that if the person at the head is being clouded by so much?
Yeah, it's shocking. The thing to me, though, is when you had huge swaths of the media. One headline was even, it's only 3 people with allegations, and then it was only 4, and then it was only 5, and over a long career, and they almost ran cover fire for him. What is going on with that?
No, look, I mean, this is the typical double standard of the media. Look what they did to Justice Kavanaugh. Look what they've done to President Trump. look what they do when it's a Republican. If this was a Republican governor, he'd be gone already. But now, little by little, you are seeing the media exposing it. As a matter of fact, New York Times and the Wall Street Journal have done some of the biggest bombshell pieces in this investigation into the governor, and you've already seen two dailies, at least I know of, at least two, Rochester, Democratic Chronicle, Albany Times-Union, major papers in New York State that have called also for his resignation. And, one of them pointed out how they endorsed him for 3 times. And they are still saying that it is time for the governor to go.
Well, we sure hope. Now, if he steps down, Lieutenant Governor Kathy Hochul takes over. What do we know about her? And is that any better, worse? I mean, same?
Well, I would say she's more conservative than this governor. But I don't think she's going to be strong enough to take on the progressive wing of this party, which has mounted so much pressure. And it's part of the reason why you see people like Governor Cuomo and Senator Schumer move more and more to the left to satisfy a radical base. Yeah. So I think she will just complete his term, and you'll see other candidates coming forward on both sides to replace him in next year's election.
Yeah, well, Congresswoman Nicole Malliotakis, we appreciate you joining us on Saturday morning.
Thank you.